Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Dr.Sreenivas Medical Concepts and my FB page Dr.Sreenivas Concepts. This is Dr. Sreenivas, neurologist from Andhra Pradesh, India. I am also the medical author of the book Focused Neurology. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, the evaluation of anisocoria. The evaluation of anisocoria, that is the inequality of the pupils. If there is an inequality of the pupils, how are we going to evaluate? The normal pupillary size is about 2 to 6 millimeters. The normal size of the pupil is about 2 to 6 millimeters. Less than 2 millimeters, we call that as myotic pupil, small pupil. It is usually because of sympathetic paralysis, a lesion of the sympathetic tract. When the pupil is more than 6 millimeters, we call that as a large pupil or mydriatic pupil. It is because of the parasympathetic lesion. Sympathetic causes dilatation of the pupil, parasympathetic causes constriction of the pupil. So when there is a parasympathetic lesion, pupil will be dilated. When there is a sympathetic lesion, pupil will be constricted. Good. Right. Now, if there is an anisocoria, inequality of the pupil, more than 0.25 millimeters, if there is an inequality of the pupil, how are we going to evaluate and find out? If we go methodically, step by step, we can easily and confidently evaluate the anisocoria. First, the pupillary reactions to darkness and reaction to light. These are the two broad categories. Darkness. When we examine the person in darkness and the pupil does not react, that is, it does not dilate in darkness, it indicates that there is a failure of sympathetic tract, because sympathetic tract causes dilatation of the pupil, sympathetic stimulation. So in darkness, when the sympathetic stimulation should occur and dilatation of the pupil should occur, if the pupil does not dilate, that means it's a lesion of the sympathetic tract, Horner's syndrome. We can confirm the Horner's syndrome, which we have diagnosed clinically, by putting 5 to 10% cocaine drops. Cocaine drops, after instilling the cocaine drops, if the pupil fails to dilate, that indicates it is a Horner's syndrome. Because in Horner's syndrome there is no noradrenaline, cocaine has got no effect. So after instilling cocaine drops, if the pupil fails to dilate, it is sympathetic lesion and Horner's syndrome. The sympathetic tract, the Horner's syndrome, we have 3 orders. The first order comes from the hypothalamus to the cervical cord, upper cervical cord. The second is in the CAT1, the ciliospinal reflex, till the superior cervical ganglion, and from superior cervical ganglion, which goes till to the eye, is the third order. So once we have confirmed the Horner's syndrome by instilling cocaine drops and failure of dilatation of the pupil, we this time instill 10% hydroxyamphetamine. The hydroxyamphetamine releases norepinephrine from the intact terminals. So when we instill the hydroxyamphetamine, if there is a first order and second order lesion, it dilates, because the third order is intact and therefore it's only a communication loss. Since the third order is intact, it dilates. But when the third order itself is affected, the pupil does not dilate. So basically, in the evaluation of anisocoria, darkness and to bright light, we see the reaction. Now we are talking about the reaction in darkness, Horner's syndrome. So basically, to summarize the pharmacological action of the pharmacological pupillary testing, we have the first order, second order and third order in the sympathetic pathways, the Horner's syndrome. When we instill cocaine drops, whether the lesion is in the first order, second order or third order, it fails to dilate. There is no response. When we instill cocaine drop, there is no response, whether it is first order lesion or a second order lesion or a third order lesion. But when we instill hydroxyamphetamine, if there is a lesion in the first order or second order, it dilates. But when the lesion is in the final pathway, that is the third order, it does not dilate. So that's how we confirm the Horner's syndrome. In the first place, by subjecting the person and the pupillary reaction to darkness and instilling cocaine drops, and first order, second order, third order, we confirm it by hydroxyamphetamine drops. This is in the darkness. Now we are going to another interesting concept in the bright light, reaction to light. So we throw light on the pupil. We see whether it reacts to light. When it does not react to light, that is, pupillary constriction does not occur when we throw light, we next check out on the accommodation reflex, the near response. So the reaction to light is absent. The next is we check on the accommodation reflex. If the accommodation reflex is also absent, it is a third nerve lesion. So when we throw light, there is no reaction. When we check the near response, there is no reaction. It is third nerve palsy. But when we throw light, bright light, when we subject the pupil to bright light, there is no reaction, but accommodation reflex is present. If accommodation reflex is present, then we see the size of the pupil. So light reaction absent, accommodation reflex is present, and the pupillary size is small. It is Argyll-Robertson pupil because of the neurosyphilis. The light reaction is absent, accommodation reflex is present, but this time the pupil is large. It is Addy's pupil. So very, very interesting. If we go step by step, we can diagnose and evaluate the anisocoria. So to summarize broadly, we divide it into two reactions. One reaction to darkness, two reactions to light. If it fails to dilate in dark, that means it is a sympathetic lysis. It is Horner's syndrome. To bright light, if it fails to constrict, then we check out on the accommodation reflex. If the light reflex is absent, accommodation reflex is also absent, it is third nerve palsy. If light reflex is absent but accommodation reflex is present, then we check the pupillary size. Light reaction absent, accommodation reflex is present, and pupil is small, it is Argyll-Robertson pupil. If light reaction is absent, accommodation reflex is present, but if this time the pupil is large, it is Addy's pupil. So wonderful. Just checking the pupillary reaction to light and darkness and accommodation reflex and the size of the pupil, we can clinically evaluate anisocoria. That is the joy of clinical neurology. I hope you have enjoyed listening to my lecture. If you have any suggestions or comments, kindly post on to my YouTube channel. But please like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Dr. Sreenivas Medical Concepts, and my FB page, Dr. Sreenivas Concepts. Thank you. Bye.